Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video. I wanted to kind of walk you guys through a real life example of interview prep, or just, I'm sorry, of what an interview can look like. What this person did well, what this person could improve upon. I just thought it'd be a really good video, and just to give credit, you can kind of see this is the channel, the name of it. So, um, yeah, I just want to kind of get into it and show you guys, what you guys need to do in an interview, and just kind of give a general breakdown. So yeah, let's get into it.
Let's see how this goes. It's 3 o'clock. We're on a phone call. Hello?
Hi, is this Jay?
Yes, this is. Yes, how are you?
Hey, I am well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Good, good. Is this still a good time for you to talk about the job we have here?
This is a great time.
Okay, perfect. So, my thought is it'll take like around 20 minutes, most likely.
Okay.
We'll keep it kind of high level. I just want to learn a little bit more about your current experience, past experience, your education, career goals, things like that. And
So just one quick thing, right? And it's not a negative. It's just a way to get rid of some of those nerves when you're in the interview. As you see, he's kind of jittery. He's a bit nervous, and so is the interviewer as well, because they've never met, they've never talked. So typically, what you could do in this scenario is do a pattern interrupt and just say, I don't remember what her name was, but you could say, hello, whatever your name is. Thanks for being able to get on a call with me. Before we start, I was just, I just really, I looked at your background. I see you've been a recruiter for a couple years. How do you like that? How do you like, you could ask a question before the actual interview to warm up a little bit, to warm them up, and whether they want to respond to it or not, you at least gain some level of control. But you see he's kind of giving up control in this interview, and it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as he regains control back during the conversation. But control is a big part of, interviews. It is a huge part of being in an interview. So as you can see, she clearly has the power in this interview because she's doing most of the talking, and she's about to start asking questions, and he's just kind of sitting there nodding.
then, of course, we can talk some logistics, and I'll tell you more about the job just to see if maybe it's a good mutual fit right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, did you just graduated, or you're about to graduate? It looked like
I graduated.
Like
I graduated today.
oh my God! Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
See, it's too brief of an answer. Take control of the conversation. Yeah, I actually graduated today. I got my bachelor's in blah blah blah. I blah 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 blah. Like, get control of the conversation so that she doesn't have to ask you certain questions. You can answer them right there, and you seem like the more the person with the authority, not her. That's, and you'll kind of see why I'm saying this, but just like really pay attention to it. It's very subtle stuff. It's very subtle stuff.
That's why today is so amazing right now.
Yeah, what a great day.
And do you see he's nervous because he's the one that's not in the position of power, right? He's not in the position of control in this conversation. So he hasn't talked enough to get rid of that nervousness, right? So you really need to like talk. Like literally you just need to do some form of talking so that you don't have to be so nervous in this conversation.
Well, that's wonderful. So hopefully we can talk about we'll be talking about your first gig out of college now.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of
Do you see? And it's, I'm sorry, I keep pausing. I'm sorry, but she's stalling. Like she's stalling. It's like we can get on with the conversation. Like it doesn't have to take this long. We can get straight into it. She's stalling and stalling because I think she's also nervous as well. But it's just kind of like this conversation is a little bit I don't know. It's just it could be a bit better. It could be run a little bit better.
Um, well, I wanted to start by just asking if you could kind of tell me about your experience. I do have your resume
Right.
pulled up, and I see looks like you've worked with Amazon through college and also done, held an internship. So I was hoping to hear a little bit about that experience plus your studies, and how all of that has sort of rolled together
How
for
does
you.
that relevant to
Yeah,
the
so
company?
my internship last year was at NFI Industries. I was on the infrastructure support team, which is just another word for the help desk. I dealt with
Mm-hmm.
tickets using their ticket managing software, and it was Landesk. So people who
Okay.
had problems with their computers, if they're locked out of their accounts, or if they were having problems with software, I would go into Active Directory, reset their passwords, or make new accounts, or modify the informations, or modify their access to certain shares, or I would have, if it's a software or hardware related problem, I would go in and fix the software issues because at NFI they had a lot of support for a lot of different software packages. So we were supposed to
Mm-hmm.
know how to fix certain problems that came up when users had issues, and some of that I had to learn by myself, and some of that they had documentation readily available that I could use to help guide myself through the process of fixing the end user's problem. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, Also, we had to participate in group discussions and activities. So, for example, I was placed on a project to help create a software or database that would store the information of the different employees in different warehouses across the country. And this project would be used for the entire organization, as there's a problem with communication because the people.
Okay, so the only thing is, I don't think he's going very. I don't think he's going in depth enough. I don't think he's going in depth enough with like what he specifically like. He's giving like a overview of it, but he's not giving details of that project he's specifically referring to. Like he's not digging in deep enough to show his expertise. You know what I mean? He doesn't sound like an expert right now. Of course, it was an internship, but you always want to make yourself an expert, right? So, for me, if I was to talk about, the company I'm at, let's say I'm interviewing with another company, I'd say, hey, listen, I had to build a very sophisticated Excel model of all of our competitors, and we had to literally pull data from each of these sources and consolidate them into Excel and create a Power Query where you would literally consolidate this information down, and spit out a bunch of outputs on how much these companies made for each deal, what type of deals they were doing, and things like that. Like, do you see that's more descriptive, right? I don't think he's being as descriptive as he can be, if you know what I mean. But I do think he's not doing a bad job. I'd say this is a 6 or 7 out of 10, but I just am not really feeling like he did anything of impact at this organization when he's talking. Like, it doesn't sound like he's doing impactful work for them, if you know what I mean. Like, it just doesn't sound like that to me. It just sounds like he's taking customer service orders or whatever, and he's just helping with basic problems, and he's not really talking about, I don't know, like the type of detail you would need. Like, can you give an example of a customer? Like, I think that's what I'm missing. Like, walk me through a call that you had with someone that needed help with their IT. Like, okay, there was this one person that was struggling with X, Y, and Z. I had to literally X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z. Do you see what I mean? Like, that is so different. Like, if I was to just come up with something, I had a call with this one lady who was having really severe technical problems with her, with her computer. It was to a point where we reset it, didn't work. So I literally had to search up the specific manual of that, brand, and figure out, is this a common issue, is this something that's one off. And in the manual, I literally figured out that it was this specific issue with the router instead of the actual. Do you see how detailed that is? That is the way he kind of needs to come off and kind of talk when he's talking about these type of things. Like, go in detail, give them a picture, right? But when you kind of listen to him, like, give a general overview, it just sounds basic. It sounds like anyone can do it. It sounds like I can do it.
software
Listen,
or
listen to
database that
this.
would store the information of
What database? What? Tell me more about this database. How did you put it together? Is it in Excel? Is it what did you use? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
the different employees in different warehouses across the country. And this project would be used for the entire organization.
What parts of the organization? Who would use it? Why would they need it? What would they use it for? Do you see, he's not being descriptive. Tell me the story. Tell me why what you were doing was important.
Is there's a problem with communication because the people who need to talk to somebody in Oakland, California, for example, they wouldn't know who to talk to because there's no central database about who the general manager is in Oakland, California. And they wanted a database software package that will allow people who are interested
Okay.
to
He gave a why.
query the
That's
database to find out who is the general manager, who is the production manager, what is their telephone number, the address, and so on and so forth.
okay. Now he's doing good. So now this is what I like to hear. All he has to do now is talk about how he pulled it together. How did you do it though? How did you pull it together? Let's see if he does it.
And
Mhm.
my job on the project was to help figure out how the database would be stored. So how many tables we would have, what the primary keys would be, would it be multiple tables or just one table, and sadly I left the company before I got to see how the project turned out, but I left because my internship was over. Um,
Right.
yes,
Unnecessary
so
to
in
say
terms of
that.
school,
It
my
was an
major,
internship.
management information systems, is more like a blend between IT and
Do you see, he put negative, he put negative connotation right there, and it was very subtle, but you kind of heard her response. Right. He put a negative stain at the end of that conversation. Listen to
my
this.
major, management information systems, is more like a blend between IT and
Wait.
business. But I left because my internship was over. The company before I got to see how the project turned out,
Boom, just stop right there. I left before I got to see how it turned out.
but I left because my internship was over.
He didn't really have to say that, and that prompted a response from her. You have to read people's body languages and people's vocal patterns. Listen to how she said right.
Um,
Right.
yes. So in
Right, that's not a positive right. That's like a right. Okay.
terms of school, my major, management information systems, is more like a blend between IT and business. In my opinion, it's more business than IT. Um,
Okay.
so we had a lot of accounting classes and finance classes, and classes related to business administration.
He okay, so that noise is very annoying. I would have had to say something like, "Excuse me, I don't, I don't know." Yeah, he, because it's gonna be hard to kind of focus. You're gonna be kind of sounding weird when you're trying to listen to this background noise. I would have probably told her, just so I don't know, just so I could talk clearly. You don't want to make yourself look kind of bad, but anyway.
And then we had classes about clients and servers and HTML, CSS, and what IT is in terms of business. So one thing that we
Yeah,
learned
he's see, he's got to tell her to turn that shit down. I mean, good Lord have mercy. Hold on, let me turn my freaking audio down because this is.
a lot is that people who are in IT may not know
You see, it's throwing him off. Like, just tell her it's okay. Like, it's not gonna get you like removed from the thing. You're saying, hey, excuse me, there's some type of background noise.
how a business is ran or why a business makes certain decisions. So the major is meant to help blend the two together so that there's somebody who can speak IT to people who are in business, but also
See, but he's going in depth about the major, and like no one cares about the major. What have you done? What is your experience? So he's describing like his major, and it's irrelevant to the job position. They don't care. They just want to know, what have you done? What is your experience? Like, what have you done? Why are you the best fit for this job? Why are you the best fit for this job? I've talked to 10 people like you. Why are you the best fit for your job? Him describing his major um is not moving the needle right here. Listen to this. Listen.
I know how a business is ran or why a business makes certain decisions. So the major is meant to help blend the two together so that there's
It's
somebody
just
who can
not
speak
relevant.
IT to people who are in business, but also a person who can understand IT and perform the to a certain level of expertise themselves.
Okay.
Do you see how she said, okay? Because it wasn't relevant. It wasn't relevant to the job. It's not relevant, right? So she said, okay. You lost her. You lost her because you're talking about irrelevant things. I don't want to rip this guy apart or anything, but I just want you guys to understand, like, the things that you talk about during an interview are critical. You know, if you have to set the tone and set the standard, man. Like, you need to start the conversation like, hey, listen, after doing some research on your company, I see you guys specialized in this type of IT. You know what's really interesting? It was when I was at my internship, I actually did this part of IT, and it was one of my favorite things I did. And even at my university, I took a class in that type of IT. And once again, it was really impactful. And I learned about this, and this things that are problems in your industry that I learned, about, and that I am looking to handle when I get the role, right? Do you see how different that sounds versus him talking about speaking IT to business and business to IT? He's talking about things that are not relevant to the actual job. So, and listen, just go ahead, watch.
That's great. What a nice blend to be able to get both sides of that, because you're absolutely right. Like when you get into a career, IT
and
doesn't
and,
happen in a
and
bubble,
she's
right?
she's not being genuine. She's not being genuine, and the reason I know she's not being genuine is just based off the micro response that she had that showed her true emotion. Listen to the micro response.
Understand IT and perform
Listen to the micro
the
response.
to
Listen.
a certain level of expertise themselves.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's
Okay.
great. What a nice blend.
Right. It was a dull response.
To be
And
able to
if
get
you look earlier, um when she had another, and I don't want to skip around. I probably will have to end this video quickly or do a part two. Actually, you know what? This will just be a long video. Let me see. Let me see if I can find her genuine reaction, because I'm pretty sure she had one. Hold on. This is what I was looking for. Watch this. So watch the response when he said, "I just graduated today."
to graduate, it looked like
I
something like
graduated.
that.
I graduated today.
Oh my God! Congratulations.
Do you see how her response was different than this response?
Now that you're looking for your
Hold on.
And
Give me a second. Okay, so you saw that first response. Watch this response after what he said.
and perform the to a certain level of expertise themselves.
okay.
Do you see how flat that is? That's flat, right? So she does not care. So anything she says after is kind of like
That's
not
great. What a
genuine.
nice blend to be able to get both sides of that. Because
Do you see
you're
how
absolutely
dull
right.
she is?
Like when you get into a career,
She
IT
sounds
doesn't
kind of
happen in a
bored
bubble,
on this
right? It's
conversation.
interacting with all these different aspects of the business. So that's really unique, and that's great to hear that it had that blended approach. What are your goals from here? So you are at this exciting time where you just graduated, you're kicking off your career. Do you have, specific goals for your new position, or are there particular areas of interest that you would like to get into, now that you're looking for your first job here?
Yes, I have multiple goals. My first goal is to obtain a job in IT, which to me would be like help desk or service desk or user support. But my ultimate goal is to get into info security, into IT security, to ultimately become a pen tester. But I realize that that's not something I can do right now. There's much for me to learn.
Mm-hmm.
IT is so vast and so deep, and I need to learn how to. I need to learn how more about the systems itself, and how to conduct.
He might have been better off just saying, I'm not really sure what I want to do in the future, but I do know I really want to go into this IT help desk position now. It's just something I'm really passionate about. Because once you start talking about a whole nother role and position, it makes you sound like you're going to get up and leave once you hit your goals, right? So you have to learn how to play the game and not be so open and honest with what you're trying to do. Just say, hey, listen, right now where I'm at, I'm just looking to learn. I just got out of college and I'm looking for, an IT help desk position because that's just what my skill set asks for. And that's what I'm passionate about. And that's what my experience is and everything else, and that's it. I'm not really sure what I want to do in the future. Boom. That way there's no, once again, negative connotation to you wanting to up and leave after 3 years of being in this help desk position and trying to upscale. You don't know what that company might value, and so you have to be careful about what you tell these companies. I hope he ended up getting this job, and I'm gonna see. This was 6 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, and I'm gonna see, if he got this or not.
Myself in the business environment and to learn the intricacies of business in general. Because and at school, they can only give you the general high level knowledge or high level knowledge of how things work. But in
Mm-hmm.
corporations, everything is so different from corporation to corporation. You have to make adjustments
Right.
to who you're talking to, or what the goals are, or just where you or the goals of myself, or where I want to go, and I
Mm-hmm.
make sure that they're aligned
Mm-hmm.
with the organization that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So you held your internship, and obviously that was a role all about helping people. Do you like that aspect of it? Do you feel you're good at kind of that, like that customer service aspect of things? Do you like talking to people?
If he says anything other than yes, I love it. I don't say anything else other than yes, I love it.
um, how do you how do you do when you have a difficult customer, right? I feel like the thing you think about with the help desk is you always get that person who's like real panicky, and
Mm-hmm.
they're maybe being a little rude towards you because they need their issue solved. So talk to me a little bit about that side of things, like how you help people, how you make them feel comfortable, and just provide them with good service
Mm-hmm.
when they're in need.
Oh yes, I don't have it on my resume, but my first job ever, when I was 16 or 17, I was a cashier at ShopRite, and I did that for about 1 year. And my experience at ShopRite really helped prepare me for customer service,
There we go.
because you really get
Mm-hmm.
you really meet, I would say, easily hundreds of people a day,
There we
as
go.
a cashier at a
This
popular
is a good
grocery store.
answer.
Sure.
And these people,
Yeah.
the people you meet aren't always the happiest people. Some people have bad days. Some people are happy, but some people are just not the happiest at the moment. And there are
Mm-hmm.
certain things that, as a cashier, that you can't control, that may come up. Like, for example, a person comes in with a coupon that's expired, and they're having a bad day, and you try to redeem the coupon, and you have to tell them, I'm sorry, but this coupon isn't usable, valid right now. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just the last thing that they want to hear, because they want to get an item that they can't anymore because they can't afford it for some reason. And
Right.
a lot of these conflicts that I've had as a time my cashier, I felt, has prepared me for just help customer service in general,
This is a
because
good
you
one.
have to be
This is a
good
good
at customer
answer.
service to be a cashier, or else you're going to lose the customer and they'll never come back. And you are graded as on how good of a
Talking too
cashier
much
you
though.
are by the customers and by the business itself. And my experience of
Mm-hmm.
talking to people who aren't very happy at the time, and how to deal with them, and how to de-escalate situations that you may find yourself into, I find it has been very important to me,
He's losing.
not only in my
You
professional
lost.
life, but also in my personal
She
life and my
blanked him
life at
out.
school.
He's talking too
Because
long.
people do have bad days, and I feel like it's
He
important to
keeps
understand
repeating
that
himself.
it may not be my
Put the
fault, it
answer
may not be
down.
their fault, it may not be anybody's fault, but
You see,
you
he
have to
he
treat people
he
with
keeps
respect,
going.
and you have to understand that they're coming to you because they have a problem, and they just want their problem fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see,
Okay.
he was right there.
Great. Um,
Do you see she's she's not very good at hiding her feelings. I don't think she likes him as a candidate right now. He talks too long too.
So I think that's probably all of my questions for you, other than
You better
talking about
ask
the
a question.
logistics of the job, like the commute, the location, travel, commitments. So that is kind of the gist of it. That's a little about the firm and the job. Do you have any questions so far? Anything that can help you understand a little bit better?
Yes. I was wondering about the hours worked. So is it like 8 to 5
Oh my
or
God! Why are you asking about low level? That's not important to ask. I'm gonna lose my mind, bruh.
9 to
Yeah,
4?
the typical.
Okay.
All right, great. So I'll wait
That's
to
what
get
your question was? The hours? No. Excuse me. Tell me what type of candidate you're looking for. Can you tell me actually how did you get to the company? Do you enjoy it? I mean, Jesus Christ. Ask anything. Just the hours of work. I'm gonna lose my mind. My God.
your resume, and then, like I said, I'll get things moving on my end. But thank you so much for your time today. It was really nice to chat with you, and congratulations again on your graduation.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you too.
Thanks.
This one was hard for me. I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't that good of a 10, 6 out of 10 maybe. It was pretty. It could have been a lot better. So you guys think you guys are good at interviews, and most of you guys are not, and it's because of the small things I mentioned. I want to see if he ended up getting this or if he has like a second round, but if he does, then I'll probably make a part 2 to this. So yep. All right. Well, I mean, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate the time you guys took. I don't know if you guys watched the whole video, but thanks for watching, and make sure you stay in scope.